Welcome back to Middle East in Depth, part of Levant TV's Press Review. Today we will look at a rather unlikely critique by Fareed Zakaria. As part of the recent Obama policy critique flooding the media, Fareed Zakaria, a staunch supporter of Obama, known for blatantly endorsing him throughout his 2008 campaign and in a biased way, Fareed Zakaria says President Obama's Syria policy has foundered because of a gap between words and deeds, and he's done it again, having declared that the aim of US policy is to degrade and ultimately destroy the Islamic State. Obama now finds himself pressured to escalate military action in Syria, which is a path destined for failure. Zakaria argues that escalation in Syria cannot meet American objectives and is most certain to produce chaos and unintended consequences. The central reality is that Washington has no serious local partners on the ground. It is important to understand that the Free Syrian Army does not actually exist. A Congressional Research Service report points out that the name does not refer to any, quote, organized command and control structure with national reach. The Director of National Intelligence has testified that the opposition to the Bashar al-Assad regime is composed of 1,500 separate militias. We call a bunch of these militias, which are anti-Assad and also anti-Islamist, we hope the Free Syrian Army. Zakaria concludes the Obama administration is pursuing many elements of this strategy. He added Obama should be forthright about its objectives and abandon its grander rhetoric, which is setting itself up for escalation and failure. James Gaudin writes an article in the Athens Herald, and it's titled "Conservative Criticism of Obama is Unfounded." Gaudin says today the US president is accused of a lack of focus in foreign policy, yet his clear policy resulted in the ending of lengthy wars in two Muslim countries in favor of opting to use our military resources to equip, train and provide support for indigenous military forces in Iraq and Syria. Obama's policy is consistent with the concerns of the majority of Americans to avoid another major foreign policy mistake by invading another country on shaky intelligence without their consent and without the support of the United Nations or the majority of our allies. James Gaudin says Obama has opted instead to use the US's air power and unmanned drones to efficiently eliminate extremist jihadist and Taliban leaders, adding that Obama's policy much reduced loss of lives of innocent civilians and consequently much less provocation of rage and demonizing of the United States by Muslim nations. And now we are joined by William Spring, political commentator based in London. Thank you for being on the show.
Please be here.
Do you believe, do you agree with Fareed Zakaria in his statements regarding the Obama policy in Iraq and Syria?
Well, he's only repeating, or on another level, duplicating what Patrick Coburn has been saying in the Independent, I think. Mm-hmm. He said in his last article that Iraq, this is the end of the story for Iraq. It's actually broken completely as a nation. And all the attempts of the Western powers, of Tony Blair and his ilk, to actually supposed attempts anyway to bring stability to the Middle East have met with total failure.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Tony Blair, and it's not the first time, of course. Are we still in the aftermath of Tony Blair in terms of the impact of his foreign policy, which obviously you do not approve of?
No, yes, we are we're still in the aftermath of it, and the only thing that can actually save Britain and the disillusionment that people have with politics in England is the impeachment of Blair. Mm-hmm. He must be impeached. This man should not be allowed to use public money to carry on wandering around the world in a sinecure job, a job which he doesn't actually have to do any work in, and creating wars everywhere and defending the indefensible. He is a war criminal. He must be brought to justice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. William Spring, political commentator, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And for more updates, please visit our website, levant.tv. You could also subscribe to Middle East in Depth on iTunes. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.